All right.
It's happy Friday. No,
Not yet.
happy Thursday.
Yeah.
Happy Thursday all. Welcome to another Thursday. Wow, what an incredible day. We have these stagnant periods during the week, and we were saying this inside the inner circle. I think it may have even been on. I don't even know what day it was. The days are mashing into one at the minute, but saying that having such limited price action is a good thing, but it's always you're always going to be very wary of things when we trend sideways and things are slow, because it's like the calm before the storm. So today, thankfully, I had meetings this morning, but I got home at about 11:30 or something like that, I think it was, and I'm just in time to catch some of these moves in these positions. And obviously I say it sarcastically, but I felt like I shed a little tear today, seeing the guys inside the inner circle coming out. PB, Adam, Art was amazing. Dill, to see what you posted, brother, if you are watching this at the minute. Brad, you're in here obviously as well. Ace, a whole bunch of guys in there posting so many charts, and just the support and everyone bouncing off each other were like that. It just fired everybody up. It was really, really incredible to see. I'm really, really proud of all the guys today. So if you are watching this, guys, an absolute kudos to you, you bunch of legends. So an interesting point for BTC right now. We'll get into ETH in just a moment, but we hit that monthly high where we are at the moment. So quite an interesting time for BTC. Now, I feel like we've seen this set up before, ads, when we've hit this major downtrend resistance line, which we can see just above you there around the nine sort of five
Nine
area.
seven.
Let me just adjust my screen. 9-7. So Ads and I were chatting behind the scenes with each other earlier today, where we bounce ideas off each other. And while we look at this daily pin bar that we've got here, indicating that we could have a bit of a retracement on our hands at the minute from what we've hit. But, so often when we come up towards this major downtrend line, we happen to see that, not always, but a good portion of the time, we see a hit on the overall downtrend line, a blow off top, and then a retracement back under trend. And obviously, we see that this supply zone that we've got up here at the sort of 10 level. For myself, 9-7 was very much going to be an area of interest up towards 10. So, the thought is between 9-7 and potentially 10-1 could be a blow off top. And then, obviously, like I said, we've got this pin bar here on the daily. This would be indicative of a fairly hefty pullback. There's a lot of selling in this area here, but we know pre-halving FOMO can very much push this up. And even though, while we did talk to BTC Jack, you can go to Unity.
Do you want to bring it up?
I know Jack's not watching this, but Jack is the damn GOAT, baby. And talking to him, he called the V bottom. He called the bottom analysis on this. And on this episode of the Trade Hacker podcast, we talked to him about all of that, which we released last week. I spoke to him a couple of weeks ago. We did a full analysis of why that 3.9 or that 3.8 level was the bottom. We shared the links to his BTC bottom analysis. We run through a whole bunch of things, and Jack has well and truly established GOAT status. He has called everything over the last 12 to 18 months. And even what I learned from him in that hour and a half, we spoke for a couple of hours, but even what I learned from him talking to him was profound. And it's that type of level that I aspire to be as a trader. And we've got a couple of really good episodes coming up with Crypto Says, who's a GAN and FIB expert. Jack obviously is a phenomenal trader all around, GAN, institutional mindset. It's absolutely phenomenal. And then we also talked to Zoran Cole, who's a bit of an Ichimoku beast, who did a $1 million ETH trade recently too. So some phenomenal traders coming up in the Trade Hacker podcast. If you haven't listened to that one there yet, unitytradinggroup.com/Bitcoin Jack. That was a phenomenal episode, and everything he said has played out to a T. So I really highly encourage you to read that. So going back to the BTC chart, listen to it rather, the BTC chart, the overall thought is that, this next supply zone up here, if we were looking at it from the technical standpoint, this supply zone has been busted. And then this would be the next level of interest really if we were to go up, which would sort of correlate again with the blow off top and then a potential retracement back underneath that. The reason why, looking at this alone, I I would say that this is a very very good point for a retracement, potentially back down towards that 8-1 level and that demand zone. But again, pre-halving FOMO could very much push this up. And just quickly going back to what to what Jack said, he said that retail traders do not control this market, period. It's the institutions, it's the multimillionaires, it's the whales that control this market. But looking at the volume that FOMO buyers or the late buyers can bring into this market, that certainly could be a catalyst for a drive higher up towards that 10K zone and that blow off top ads.
It is well and truly cooked, Ty. It is fried chicken right now. But I completely agree, Ty. The FOMO could push this all the way to 10, and then we can make our decision at the halving then. It's not too far away. It's only about, 12 days away now?
Yeah, 11 days.
11 days, there you go.
11 days.
So plenty of time for us to cool. Look, honestly, there's plenty of time for the BTC price to, cool off, come down to, some of these levels as Ty was suggesting, and then we could well and truly push way past this supply and test the next, levels up at the 10,000, 10-1 mark for that halving date, Ty.
Yeah, 100%. And, we're now starting to get, again, we're looking at technicals, we're looking at indicators, but in situations like this, it could very much become redundant because we've seen this happen before where things run up purely on FOMO. We're seeing Steamroller giving us an oversold condition now for the first time since February, which we saw over here, which was this run up. And Steamrollers are a very, very reliable indicator 90% of the time. Here we are, we can see that we're falling here again now down to 8.6. So this is quite a heavy dump that we're seeing on this daily candle here now as well. Thankfully, I was out at around 9.050 is where I exited all of my positions, stated that inside the Discord. I think when we were about here, I said, listen, this is a very good time to take profits. You don't go broke taking profits. And that's one thing that even myself as a trader who's been around beforehand, and I admitted that inside the Discord today, I did get caught up in a little bit of the euphoric run of this because it was almost like 2017. You hit buy and you're making money.
Yeah.
So I was happy to take profits, but fully out of my positions at 9.050, waiting to rebuy down low. And looking from this around 8.1, 8.2 is potentially where you could be looking at a sizable buy. But I'd really like to see where this candle breaks, this daily candle. We've got 14 hours, but looking at where we are now, this is pretty evident what's happening here.
Absolutely. So I'm in the same boat as you, Ty. I was long from about 550-100, and I was out at this level of supply on that position too. So I've still got some on the table, but nowhere near as much as before. And I'm waiting to see what the market does, see if we can pick up this asset or pick up BTC again at a decent pullback from this euphoric wick that we have here.
Yeah, so it's very much a time, if you can make the time at the moment, this is one of the very few times where I would say, being in front of the screen a little bit is probably not a terrible thing because while you should always abide by your own TA, abide by your own trade plan, this is a very unique time with the halving and everything coming in. So be prepared, prepare for all scenarios. Keep your stops nice and tight. Don't play with too large a positions, get caught in that euphoric run up that we see because we can get snapped back just as hard as what we're seeing at the moment.
Yeah,
so moving on to, and just also very quickly as well, on Tuesday night, we spoke about alts and we spoke about why we were completely out of alts because I said, and we very clearly said that if BTC starts running, everyone's going to be pulling out of alts and they're going to get smashed and they're going to be running into BTC and Ethereum, the majors. XRP is I guess a bit of an outlier when it comes to that, but even it's seen a bit of a pullback correlated to BTC here. But the traditional alts, I'm staying well away from them until all this halving and stuff sort of relaxes.
Yeah.
And then I am pretty confident in some of the trades that we're going to see post-halving on BTC because, what we could see if we look at LTC is a little bit of a litmus test, even though in the past we've got a very clear outline of what BTC has done. We often see very good runs on BTC post-halving. Last time it was ridiculous couple of 1,000% from 5.8 to 20 or whatever it was. We're not going to see that again, obviously, but with BTC now coming up to the halving, it could very much go either way post. LTC, everyone was expecting a doubling in price of LTC.
Yeah.
We halved in price post LTC halving. So
Yeah.
that's something to also keep in mind with BTC. Everyone says, well, it's different this time, it's the same, whatever it might be. You just need to be prepared for every scenario. So whilst, obviously macro yearly terms, you can't deny it now. BTC is the best performing asset of all time, the best performing asset of the year. You would be, I think, foolish to bet heavily against BTC's continuing rising in price. But like I said, the halving is a very unique circumstance. The macro global financial environment is a very unique circumstance. So I don't think we'll be seeing all-time highs this year. But keeping in mind also too, if we look out and we zoom out to the weekly and to the daily, technically we're still in a downtrend or an overall downtrend until we break. Till we make a higher high. We still weren't able to make it there. We made a higher low from here. We make a higher low again. Everyone kind of says, well, I'm not going to be bullish until we break 5. I'm not going to be bullish until we break 8. I'm not going to be bullish until we break 10, whatever it is. Like, we're clearly in a very healthy run up here. There's potential V bottom from what we're seeing here. But 10K, I think, is really going to be the telling point. If we continue to break through here, that's really going to change my outlook on where I believe we might be headed with BTC. Because even looking at the weekly,
it looks really good.
Phenomenal volume over the last 8 weeks. I think we've had this as the 7th or 8th straight week of green candles. Steamroller's given us an entry condition around here. We've got this V bottom on our CCI, this V bottom on our RCI and RSI rather, and still a lot of room to move. So certainly don't be just looking at the 4-hour and the 1-day timeframes in an environment like this. You can zoom right out to the weekly. I often look at the 2-day, the 3-day, and the weekly for overall confirmation. If you are a swing trader, you simply could have just bought when your CCI and your RSI made a bottom and held it through the chop and the turbulence. If that's what you want to be, then certainly you can be doing that. Hold and play futures and away you go.
You can even employ a simple moving average strategy like we've got on the chart here, where you've got, you would have, if you're following the strategy to the T, you could have got in at, $700, rode it all the way up, and then again, at about $4,000, rode it all the way up, and we're coming up to another cross here, Ty. So it's anybody's game. We'll see what happens. The weekly definitely looks like it's got some movement in it, but that's remains to be seen.
Yeah, and I'm just going to share a link with you real quick. Ads, we have our Unicon indicator, which is our EMA cross indicator. It's part of our overall larger indicator, our sort of God indicator, if you want to call it that we share inside the inner circle. That's free with our membership each month. But what we also did late last week or a fortnight ago, we did a deep dive into moving averages. So looking at what are moving averages, what's the difference between a simple moving average and exponential moving average, compared the two, how you can avoid fake outs with multiple MAs. And these are things that you can find for free on TradingView, or you can come and join us, obviously, and get the automated signals that come with our trading indicators. But looking at it now and trading the SMAs and the EMAs, we did some back testing along with our steamroller indicator. And had you have just bought and sold on the MA cross, I think it would yield like a 60% or a 67% win rate. So it's a very simple strategy. You certainly are leaving money on the table if that's all you abide by. But if you are just looking for a very simple strategy, we break it all down. And obviously at the very bottom there is a video where I run through the differences between the moving averages and how to use them in a very simple trading strategy way, along with our EMA fan, SMAs, EMAs, the whole shebang. So a really simple strategy that can yield quite good results as you can back test for yourself and find.
Absolutely, that's the case. Make sure you guys check that out if you're interested.
100%. So let's move on now to ETH. What are we seeing on ETH?
Ethereum was really in the same boat as BTC. We've had that really long rise here, and that potential bottom you were talking about here, Ty. But it's really had very similar targets as BTC, where we've had the pause in the market was essentially our first target, which we did reach here a couple of days ago on the 26th, and then pushing through it late last night and today. We're actually retesting this zone now. And the next major pivot, which we haven't really gotten to yet, is about $240, Ty. We've got this this very, very clear market pivot point. That's where I would pick Ethereum. Heading to in the macro scale of things, right now though, micro scale, if we're bringing it down onto the 4 hour, obviously we need some sort of relief, some sort of pullback, just to get these indicators back down into where they need to be for a further move up. And we're obviously seeing that now with RSI taking a massive dive down to the 55 level. CCI is also doing the same, and our steamroller's lagging a little bit behind there. But honestly, Ty, Ethereum's looking good. Ethereum's looking good for that potential further move to that 240 level for the minute. Honestly.
Yeah, for sure. And looking at the you've got the BitMEX chart open there, but looking, I look at both the BitMEX and the Bitstamp. Interestingly enough, we've been looking at Garn quite a bit, and Garn fans and pivot points and dates. They're inside the inner circle. I'll share this later on, but pretty much smack bang on one of our major Garn levels here as well. Our monthly high on the BitMEX or the Bitstamp is around 252, which is just slightly shy of that 240 supply zone that we have there as well. So looking at things now, I think with 213 was 213 and 224. 213 and 229 were major points that I had outlined inside the inner circle. One, because the 213 or 212.05 was our 127 extension from our swing low down at 147.80, which is what we got because our 27 and our 68 align quite well with that bottom. And then our 161 extension was around 220. Our 200% extension lines up at 248, and then 224 extension at around 260, which is also, if we zoom out a fair bit on that, adds on the daily perhaps might be an idea.
I think my fibs are slightly different.
Yeah, your fibs are slightly different, but if you zoom out just a little bit more, we can sort of see this sort of similar overall macro downtrend. Just pause just there. So if we look at things, just stop it there for a sec.
Sorry.
Yeah, so if we look at things from like that standpoint, that does line up quite well with our very, very top extension. But I think this is the main point where I'm looking at between 240 and 250. Which would be our monthly high point. So I think now looking at things, I think a reasonable expectation for a pullback, if we do continue down, would be back down towards the sort of the 198 mark, and then even down as far as around the 188 mark or the 190 mark, I think would be reasonable if we do continue down for this move. But looking at the daily, our order book volume is starting to decline as well. We've also got our RSI cross. We're looking at our Stotch, our steamrollers giving us this indicator. So keeping in mind though too, like when we see these very, very profound large daily candles and quite hefty pullbacks, that's still quite healthy in the sense of an overall uptrend. As long as we don't make a lower low, it's still quite healthy in the overall uptrend. So don't get caught out thinking that was it and we're going to get smashed to the ground. It's not quite like that. This is healthy, albeit quite abrupt. But still, if you were long and you've taken profit, don't look to catch knives. You can obviously average back into a position. You can be short for the meantime if that's what you want to do. You can 1x short to preserve capital if that's really what you want to do as well. But we could sit to the sidelines in cash or packs and just wait, be patient, and look for the next long setup.
And I think that is the key. That's going to be the key. Patience is the key, mate.
Patience is our theme for May. April theme was simplicity, which is I think changed a lot of guys' outlooks on certain things who are looking to be in front of the screens all day or to looking to be charting for the sake of charting. You can make 1 to 2 great trades a week and still be profitable from that, and having to do 10 trades a day. It's not the law of numbers that the more trades you make, the more successful you are. It can quite profoundly be the opposite of that. So that's something to take in mind with all of this happening at the moment. Don't get emotional. Don't get caught in everything. Look at things from a macro scale. Don't just be looking at the 10, 15-minute charts, because that's a great way to get smashed. Macro for one day. Take it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Words to live by.
100%. Let's have a look at some other ones that I'm interested in having a bit of a look at. ADA, I'm interested to have a look at the moment. PB, if you are watching this, excellent trade from you, mate. I think it's going to a T. He's putting his own spin on a trading strategy that is playing out at the moment for him, and I'm pretty sure he's in profit at the moment. So well done, mate.
I hope everyone that was live with us on Tuesday night followed my TA. Because that was bang on to the 38.2 tie, I reckon.
Yep, and I've actually got our charts from Tuesday night in the chat ads. So that was our TA from Tuesday night. I don't think you could have picked that much better.
Yep.
Bang, right on the supply. And that would have been a phenomenal short for anybody that was in it. So what was that, ads? We called that at 614 sats. What is that? What percentage did we make on that one so
8%.
far? So not bad. At 10x leverage, that would have been 80% trade in 2 days. So
yeah.
not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad.
What do we want to look at?
Here, what are we seeing at the minute, ads? We're on our 50. We've had a pretty decent little buy up from that point there, but keeping in mind too that when things occur like this, there's FOMO buyers that are looking for the buy the fucking dip buyers. In situations like this, you can, and that looks like a little bit of a pin bar, but I think that's a pin bar in the overall direction of trend. So I don't think that's relevant in terms of a continuation upwards from here. So we've broken below, this this sort of previous liquidity around here. And I think this will certainly be the level to look at. You've only got to look at the selling volume there to see. Obviously, we've got steamroller coming down. Although our CCI is starting to bottom out, our RSI does still have room to move. So I would be interested to see where this 4-hour candle closes and if we can close back above this 38. But at this point, I don't see it, and headed back down towards that demand looks likely for me.
Yeah, look, this demand looks good right now at the 530 sat mark for ADA, something like that, and that would really coincide really well with the 61 fib retracement. So that looks good to me, Ty, at 532 sats. Round here. It doesn't have to get to 532, 540, 535, 536 roughly is where I would put ADA for this bit of pullback, and we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at right here.
Yeah, and our weekly low for ADA was around the 500 sat mark. So okay. I think not that I'm saying that we will get to that point there, but 530 is looking pretty good. We're kind of sitting on our point of control at the minute at 563 sats, and then the next little bit of liquidity around there sits between sort of 535 to down to 525 sats.
Yeah, so we've had our MA crosses, all right. So we've been bullish up until roughly the 29th of April, just after our posting of that chart, and then bang, we've had that cross down, and off we go. So yeah, looking at that level for the interim, just over the next day or so, I think that's going to play out.
Perfect. Let's have a look at some of the other ones that we look at as sort of canaries in the mine for alts. FBTC. I'm interested to have a little bit of a look at.
FBTC, that reached our target as well. So if we zoom back out on daily, we did have that top, roughly at about the 26,000 sat mark, where we failed to make a higher high multiple times. So we're looking at, once, twice, 3, 4 times now, and then the obvious way for it to go back was back to that 38 fib retracement, or retesting that previous level of supply would now turn demand. Look, it's not the way you should really play it. You should really delete these zones as they come, but looking like it's been respected so far, so I'll leave it in there for the minute. But I would really expect it to come back down to at least here, Ty, where we're looking at the 50 fib retracement. That's where I would put the most relevant level of demand zone. 23,000 sats is where I would see Ethereum, I think, fall to in the next day or so.
Yeah, and if you check your chats there too, ads as well, that was exactly the mark that we had lined up on Tuesday,
Yep.
from Tuesday night. So that was that very relevant demand zone. Again, the reason why we're seeing a lot of these alts pull back is the reason, as we said, when BTC starts to run up pre-halving,
Mm.
people are pulling out of alts and they're putting
Hmm.
money into BTC because that's the one that's having the biggest impact. So
Yeah.
fantastic short, but obviously you can't short FBTC on MEX if that's where you're playing. But ADA, EOS, LTC are great shorts when BTC is mooning like this. So
Mm.
not a bad play, but also again a good pickup. And there's obviously going to be a fair bit of liquidity around that 50 fib mark, even down towards the 61
Yeah.
fib. But looking at things, I think we still have a little bit of room to move. And there we go. We're now trending below our point of control, and our
Yeah.
high volume nodes rather sit around this demand zone perfectly. So
Yeah.
that's the area to hold, and that's the liquidity nodes that we need to hold. If not, then we can sort of see where our high volume nodes sit from here, which lines up with our fib levels quite well.
Yeah, if you're not part of the inner circle and you're not familiar with supply and demand, look, I can pick these zones without looking at these liquidity zones, and more often than not, honestly, 99% of the time when we turn these nodes on and give ourselves a decent level to work with, they always land in the most relevant areas, Ty. So it's a good strategy to employ if you're not part of the IC and want to get involved.
Definitely not bad for $30 a month. Let's have a look at XRP USD.
XRP USD, another one that I've been trading personally. So very, very easy level to identify. Obviously, the pivot point, market pivot point at 24 cents there, and we surely just missed out on it. But we just had that front run on, as Ty would refer to it. So not a bad level to be respecting. And we're looking at the same sort of scenario, Ty, where we've got to push up, and we're going to have some sort of pullback for maybe a relief for the next day or so before we make a decision on direction. But looking like our MAs are crossing bullish again. RSI, CCI on the higher side, so starting to point down a little bit after we have some sort of pause, and to cool off these indicators, we could see more bullish action towards the 28 cent mark, where I'm seeing this further pivot point up the top.
Yeah, totally. And again, if you refer to our moving averages article, unitydradinggroup.com/moving averages, you would see how if you were just using our Unicorn Cross indicator, where you might find a pullback to be headed using just moving averages on this channel. So looking at this now, an interesting time. I think, again, as I said, the Bitcoin halving a very unique time, but I would expect the next couple of days to be potentially where we might establish a range between the lower levels to the highs that we've just seen recently. We might see some scan wicks on the weekend, and then we'll wait to see what happens early next week.
Yeah.
Keeping in mind, again, we're only 11 days out from the halving. So is this a taste of things to come? It very well could be if we can find that we establish some higher lows here on the larger time frames.
Absolutely. Very, very good volume, I must say, on XRP over the last month.
100%.
Probably more than that.
Yeah.
Since the start of the
year. Yeah.
Perfect.
Interesting. All right. Well, that's it for us on another night. For everything you might need to know about trading Bitcoin, we've got a whole bunch of guides, some of our best guides. We've got the Trade Hacker podcast. Obviously, we've got some really incredible guests coming up in the next few weeks. Simply just go to unitydradinggroup.com and you can type in what do you want to learn today, whether it's trend lines, our beginner series, Bollinger's, MACDs, RSIs, fibs, itchy, MAs, our Unicorn indicator, our 3-part trading strategy, everything really that you can think of from beginner to advanced trading guides. It's all over there at unitydradinggroup.com. And obviously you can come and join us inside the Discord if you want to learn how we trade. Come and trade with us. Come and join the family. There's no stress whatsoever. We hope to see you there. If not, trade safe, and we will see you next Thursday. Take care.
Take care. Catches.
Bye-bye.